Hello again. I've got another non-Sudoku that I'm excited to try today. This one is a combination of a cave puzzle and a castle wall puzzle, and I really like both of those puzzle types individually. And I've even made quite a few of them and combined cave with other puzzles and castle wall with other puzzle types, but I've never thought to combine a cave and a castle wall together. So I'm really curious to see how this works. I found this on Logic Masters Germany. It was also actually recommended by a few people. Um, and this is called Castle Wall slash Cave by Magnus Josefsson, I think is how you probably pronounce that. If that's not how you pronounce it, I apologize. Um, and the rules seem kind of complicated. You can read through them there. I'm not going to read through all the rules. I'm just going to kind of try to explain the way I understand the rules to be. And I guess if I don't have the rules correct, I'm probably not going to be able to solve it, and you won't see this video. So if you're seeing this video, then this is how the rules work. So we have, if you're not familiar with Cave or Castle Wall, by the way, I'll link to some other videos where I talk a little more about those puzzle types individually. So I'm going to assume that you know Cave and Castle Wall individually for this video. So you do normal cave stuff. So, this 7 over here, for example, means that there's 7 cells that it can see, including itself, something like this maybe, or like that are part of the cave. So that's all pretty normal, and you're drawing the cave walls. So if you had these two, you'd have, we gotta switch to dark gray instead of yellow. There we go. You'd have, something like that for your walls of your cave. Now, then after we have our cave drawn, so we have our, whatever, our cave wall, let's say it's like that. Now we have to also draw a castle wall, right, with our lines, just like normal. And whatever numbers are not part of the cave, so for example, this 8 and this 6, since they're part of the cave wall, they are now castle wall clues and not cave clues. So each number is either part of the cave and is a cave clue, or it's part of the cave wall and is a castle wall clue. So we kind of have two different walls going on. There's the cave wall and then the castle wall, which is the line. And essentially what that's saying is like this 8 would mean that it sees 8 castle wall segments, just like normal castle wall, except it's telling you the total in all 4 directions. So we don't have the arrow like we would normally have on castle wall. So it's telling us the total in all 4 directions. So, maybe it does something like this. 1, 2, 3 gets 4 there, and then 4 down here, something like that. Who knows, right? So that's the idea there. That's basically the extent of the rules. So every number is either part of the cave and works like a normal cave clue, or it's part of the, in a gray cell, which is part of the wall of the cave, and then gives you the total of the castle wall segments it sees in all 4 directions. And you have the normal stuff like cave walls, so the gray here has to connect to the edge. You can't do something like this and have a wall segment that's isolated in the middle. And you can't have all of the cave parts have to touch each other. You can't do something like this and have 2 different sets of cave. Otherwise, it's basic castle wall and cave rules. I'm going to give it a try now. I'll leave a link in the description below where you can try it out. And we'll see how this goes. Let's see. I should probably reset my timer quick. There we go. All right. So, oh, and also on Logic Masters Germany, there's it said that there's automatic answer checking. It'll give you the little hooray if you get it right. But you have to use gray for the cave walls and a green line for the castle wall for that to work. So where do we start is the question. So normally, you could do something like this for the cave. But in fact, actually, that's not possible, is it? Because if we have both of those, it's going to be isolated because you're going to have to draw a cave wall. So those can't both be green, in fact. Could they both be gray? Yeah, I think they could both be gray. They could be one of each. So we don't really know what those are, but we know they're not both green. They're not both part of the cave. 10. Okay, it's 10 by 10, so the 9. Well, the 9 can't. If the 9 is part of the cave, it can only get at most 3 going vertically, but yeah. Oh, the 1. The 1 can't be part of the cave. If the 1 was part of the cave, then you'd have wall all the way around and you'd have an isolated segment there. So that has to be a wall. And so that tells us there's only one castle wall segment total in that row and column, but I'm not sure. Yeah, that doesn't really do much for us though, does it? What about these 8s? Are they 8s? So it can only get 5 vertically. If it's part of the cave, it can only have 5 total. 6, 7, 8, yeah. If it's not part of the cave. Oh, right, because if it's not, yeah, if it's part of the cave wall, we can only have one line segment vertically. So we'd have to have 7 horizontally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it would have to have all of its horizontal ones. But that's possible. But is that possible down here? No, no, because right. So it can only get one vertically. It's going to have all of its horizontal ones, which is possible. That's 7, so it could do that. But all of these line segments have to be part of the cave. And so you're going to have 4 or 5. You're going to have 7 cells here that are part of the cave, and that 5 can only have at most 5. So in fact, we can say that this 8 is part of the cave. 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to have those 2. So it's connected to the 5. So it can only have 5 because the 5 and the 8 are both now part of the cave. So it can only have at most 5 cave cells that it sees here. So it's going to have all 3 of those. Right, and so it has to have 5. It has at most 5, but it has to have actually 5 because it can only get 3 above and below. So the 5 is going to have all 5 of its cells horizontally. So these are black, or gray, whatever, walls. And now that's interesting because this 3 can only see 3 line segments, which means the 9 can only see 3 vertically. So it's going to have at least 6 horizontal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's 7 possible. So so we don't know which ones yet, but it's going to need it can only leave out 1 at most. And that also tells us so it can only have a maximum of 7 in the row. So it's going to have at least 2 in the column. So the 3 therefore has to have at least 2 in the column and can only have at most 1 in the row. I don't know what that means for us, but we can take note of that. What else can we do? Let's see. Oh, right. So we can do some castle wall stuff. Yeah, I'm thinking caves, but we can do castle wall stuff here because these gray cells are sort of like the black cells in castle wall, right? They have to be outside of the loop, and so we actually can't go through here because if you draw a line through go back to line. If you draw a line through here, this side of the wall, the castle wall, is outside of the castle. So the other side has to be inside the castle, but it also has a gray cell. So you can't have both sides of the wall being outside the castle. And the same thing up here. The wall could come up here, but it couldn't continue where you'd have both sides of the wall being outside the castle. So it could come up and over, or it could do this kind of thing, but it can't actually go through there. And so, right, and we know that the wall has to come down here at some point because we need to use at least 2 of these 3 segments down here, We don't know which ones, but it has to somehow come down here and back out again. And it can't go through here. It can't go through here. It has to come in and back out through over here. And so we can fill all those in as cave. And now, can the 2 be... Can the 2 be part of the cave? I mean, obviously can't come down. It would have to go across. No, it can't be. Oh, okay. Yeah, because all right, another way to think about it, I guess. Yeah, okay, let's look at, instead of at the 2, let's look at this cell down here. Can this one be gray? And the answer is no, because the castle wall can't go between a gray cell and the outside of the grid one time. It would have to go, like down here we went through 2 times. Essentially, you need to have an even number of castle walls between a gray cell and the edge of the grid, because you can kind of think of the wall as having a parity, an inside and an outside. So this gray 1 means that the left side of the line is outside. So the right side of the line must be inside. And since the left side of this one is then inside, the right side must be outside. So we go outside, inside, outside. It flips every time you cross the wall, and that's fine. But if you only have one, like right up here, this is outside on the left, so the other side has to be inside the castle, but it's the edge of the grid, so that can't be inside the castle. So essentially, what I'm saying is this one cannot be gray. It must be green. And therefore, this must be gray, because if it's green, you've got way too many cave segments seeing that too. And then we can also say then, for the same reasons, the line can't continue up here. So it's going to have to turn. I gotta switch back to the line. There we go. And now we need to avoid this. I mean, I'm sure we need to avoid this touching, right? Like, it's not just going to be a tiny loop over here. That'd be kind of lame. But can we say for sure? Yeah, we can say for sure that that doesn't, because we know that we need to get at least, a few segments over here, because this 9 needs to have quite a few. So in order for the wall to come over here somehow, it's going to have to go through between this 2 and 1. So these need to not connect. So they've got to do this. And now we can fill in some more cave segments. And so now we've got this 8 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so it's possible that it doesn't continue over the cave. Oh, this 2. Right, the 2 is gray, which means it sees 2 total line segments, or castle wall segments, line, whatever, and it sees 2 already down here, so we can put in a bunch of X's, a lot of X's, all the way across that row. And that's going to give us a little bit more of the line down here. This... Yeah, I don't think we can... I want to say this has to come down, but it could do something like this, couldn't it? Except, no, it can't. No, it can't. Because, right, this 3, we said... We were taking note of this, remember? It needs at least 2 vertically, so the 3 can only see 1 horizontally, or 0. And if this goes across, it has to continue because of the x's, and you'll get 2. And it can only pick up 1, so this has to come down. And now, if it comes across, you're not going to be able to pick up either one of these 2, and the 9 can only miss 1. So this has to come down this way and across there. Now, what else? We know we can only see 1, but we don't know. I mean, it could be either one of these or somewhere else. Oh, but it can only see 1, so this line can't go up because it would get 2 there. So this has to continue this way. Let's see, we can fill in some more cave cells. Oh, and these 2 now can't be cave walls because they'll be isolated. So those are cave. So, let's see, what do we do now? Our the gray one needs to connect to the edge of the grid somehow. We don't know where yet, but it's got to come out here. I suspect. I mean, we know that the castle wall comes down here somehow. It has to get several segments in this bottom row. So it's going to have to come down here. And so this is going to have to connect to the bottom. This 1 and this 6 somehow. Because it can't connect to the left or the top because those castle wall segments have to go across there. But we can't say for sure if it goes left or down from where it is, I don't think. Oh, but the line, right. Again, we're trying to avoid creating a small loop here. So this one has to keep going straight, which gives us another castle segment. Oh, we filled in all of these. So we've got our 5 down here, which gives us this. And now checkerboard pattern, we got to fill in those. If you're not familiar with the checkerboard, essentially you have to avoid, in a 2x2 area, you have to avoid this kind of a pattern because you'll end up with 2 loops. It's not entirely obvious, at least to me, that that's the case, but just trust me, it works out that you just have to avoid that checkerboard pattern. So, what else can we do? So the 2, it's already got the, what about the 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It sees 6, it could get one more up here. One more line segment if it's gray. If it's green, oh no, because if it's green, it's gonna have 8 cells that it sees already. So that has to be gray, which means it's got to have a line segment up there to get the 7th because it can't pick one up in the row. So now we can fill in some more cave cells. Actually we can extend it further because this one can't come down here. It's gonna create a T. And we gotta avoid closing the loop up there. So we get some more cave cells here. Now, the 6. So we're losing a lot of possible line segments up here. And it's got quite a few options over here though, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. The 1. So the 6 can only have at most 1 castle wall line segment in its row because of the 1. So it has to have at least 5 vertically. Can only get 3 down here. So it needs, so it needs at least 2. Switch the line. It needs at least 2 up here. So it's going to have those 2. And now, so that's a cave. And it's going to have all 3 at the bottom too, isn't it? All 3 of these. So we can do that and that. And fill those in as cave. Excuse me. What about this one up here? Do we know if that's gray or green? The 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, if we fill that in as green, the 8 is going to see 9 cells. So that has to be gray. Okay. And now, right, so now the 8 only sees 6, so it's going to have to go 7 and 8 right there. This is going to be gray, so now we get a 7 that's a gray. It's got a lot of options still for line segments, though. But, the 9, so we said it needed at least 6 horizontally, right? Oh, and we put a gray here, so we lost one of our possible. So it needs all the rest of those, and that's 6, which then means it's gonna have to have 3 vertically. So this 3 needs 3 vertically then, which means we can put some X's across here because the 3 can't pick up any horizontally now. Let's go back and fill in our cave cells there. So it needs 3 horizontally. It could get 2, 3, yeah. Or vertically, I mean. But I think doesn't necessarily have to go through this area here, I don't think. Oh, no, no. Back to cave stuff. We got the 1 and the 6 here. These grays have to connect to the edge somehow. So it needs to continue out there. And so now the 3, yeah, it needs 3 vertically, and there's no way to avoid going through the middle here. Now, we don't know if it connects at the top or the bottom, but it has to go through the middle there and pick up both of those. So we can also fill in some more cave cells there. Now, this gray has to connect to the gray below, but not necessarily straight down. I mean, it could even do something crazy like that, theoretically. Right? And these could connect or continue on, yeah. Ah, this 2 here. If this is gray, it needs to see 2, and it already sees 1, 2, 3, 4 line segments. So that can't be gray. So it has to be green. And we said earlier that we couldn't make both the 2's green. So that means that one has to be gray. And it sees 1 vertically. It can't have any horizontally. So it needs 1 more vertical line segment. Excuse me, 1 more vertical line segment. Right, and so if the line continues up here, it's going to pick up 2 because of that X. So it's going to have to turn. Now, does that mean that doesn't mean the 3 is gray, though. In fact, the 3 can't be gray. The 3 can't be gray. If the 3 is gray, it needs to see 3 line segments. Well, we know there's going to be 2 in the column because of the 2 up here. So it's going to have 1 in the row, and there's no options for line segments in the row. So in fact, that is part of the cave. And now that's part of the cave, we can fill these in. Checkerboard gives us that one. This is green because of the line segment. And now that those cave walls are there, the only way for this loop to get back out is for both of them to come up this way. Like that. And we know the line can't come through here. Oh, right. And just like earlier, when the line couldn't go through there, you also can't come through here because you're gonna have both sides of the castle wall being outside of the castle wall. So this has to turn. That forces this to turn, and they're both gonna have to come up and out this way, just to avoid closing off the loop down here. So we get more cave, and now for the 1 and the 6, this cave wall to get to the edge of the grid has got to come down that way. I don't think. Right, the 2 needs 1 more line segment in the column, but it can't be below. There's 2 potential places below it, but if the wall comes over here at all, it's got to come in there, and then how does it get back out? It's got to come in and back out again, and there's only enough room for 1 wall to come through. It can't come in and back out, so it can't go in there. So this has to be the other one for that first column, and so we can do that. Continue that one over. Get some more cave cells. Now this 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sees 6, but the 7th one could be up above or over here. We know this line connects either up or to the left. We can't say which one yet because it could go, up and come back down, something like that. Or it could come over here and these could all connect. So, and this 7 sees 6 line segments currently. So we can't really say for sure if that's gray or green yet because well, we do know Right, so this gray 7 already sees 6. It can only pick up one more, so we definitely can't come down through here with our line. Through the 3, because it would pick up 2 there. But that doesn't tell us if those are gray or green yet. This green 2 is going to have to connect to the rest of the greens somehow. And this gray 7 needs to connect to the edge of the grid somehow. It obviously can't connect at the top, because we got too many lines that are going to have to cross there. But I feel like it could connect to the 2 or come straight across. You know, if it goes up to the 2, the green 2 has to connect down through the 4, and if the 7 goes over, the green 2 has to connect above it. Well, I mean, right. So it can't come down here. Because, oh, it could come out this way. That's the 4. No, it can't, because, right. So the 4, if the 4 is green, then it's already got 4, so it's going to have to do something like that. I think that's still possible, though, actually. Oh, but if the 4 is gray, it has to see 4 line segments, and it only sees 1 over here, none down below. It's going to have to pick up all 3 of those, and the line is going to get trapped. It's going to get dead-ended down here. So this actually does have to be part of the cave, which means this has to fill in as cave wall. The 2 has to continue here. It gives us a gray there because it already sees 2, so it's got to continue that way because it has to connect to the green somehow. And now the wall can't come down from right here, or it's going to get trapped. So it's got to continue to the right, which pushes this one to the right. We can't close the loop. Keep going that way. Some more cave segments there. Now this 3, if this is part of the cave, it's going to already see 4. So it's got to be part of the wall, which means it has to see 3 line segments, which it does. Oh, the 7s. So the 7 down here, we said sees 6, and now it doesn't have the option of picking one up above it. So it's got to be across there. That pushes this one this way. Now, oh, so this could still continue across here and across here, or it could come up and then down, I think. So, oh, maybe this other 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it already sees 7, so we can't come across there. It's got to go up. It's got to continue up because of the X's. And now we can't close this loop across here, so that's got to go that way, down there, down here. And there we go. Solution is correct. Congratulations. Hooray! All right. Thing scrolled on me. There we go. I'm going to fill in the cave just for completeness. There we go. That is Castle Wall / Cave by Magnus Josefsson. I think Josephson, I'm not entirely sure. Either way, great puzzle. That was a lot of fun. I really like Cave. I really like Castle Wall. In fact, I did a pirate treasure hunt, a pirate treasure puzzle hunt back in October that Cracking the Cryptic shared, and it involved, there was 4 puzzles, and one was a cave and one was a castle wall. So yeah, I definitely like those puzzle types. In fact, I'll include a link in the description to where you can find that pirate puzzle hunt as well. I think it's fun. Hopefully, I enjoyed making it. So hopefully people enjoy solving it too. Take a look at that. Take a look at this puzzle. Some of the other castle walls and caves I've linked. Let me know if you were able to solve this, what you thought of it. I believe Magnus actually has another castle wall / cave that is even bigger and probably more difficult. Maybe I'll try that one in a future video now that I've done the version 1 here. But that was a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks, bye.